Salad or Dolly, threw a great party. We all drank Bacardi, it got kinda gnarly. We're light as a feather, we're tougher than leather. Together we're weirder together.
Hello, welcome to Weirder Together. I'm Ione Skye.
I'm Ben Lee, and after a brief hiatus, where we were moving house and our life was upended radically, we're back, baby.
We're back. They say moving is as stressful as divorce. I don't know about that, but it's pretty. We all had different days and moments where we had to just lie down for a second and gain our capacity. But wait.
Where would you rank our proximity to divorce during this move? Do you think we edged closer to it, or?
Oh, you and I. I was saying it. They say it's as stressful as divorce.
Oh, okay. Not that it causes divorce.
No. That they rank it with moving, one of the most stressful things in life, which I have to disagree, but I think it's up there with something. What season are we in on our podcast? I was curious about.
I think we stopped doing seasons, but we are in our 5th year.
Got it. Okay.
I know someone was asking me, we were at Lenka's Halloween party and her husband James's birthday party the other day, and in Dulwich Hill, and someone was asking me about the pod. They didn't know about it, and I was like, yeah, we've been doing it for 5 years. I mean, that feels substantial now.
Yeah,
it's like when you're dating, like if you hit 5 years, you feel like this thing has some legs.
Yeah, we did it, and we're still doing it, and it's so good.
And how is we dropped our, because we're getting rid of a lot of stuff. We have moved into, so where we are today, we're in our new place, but this is where we're not going to be doing the pod here. We actually are moving into our first official separate Weirder Together headquarters, music studio, painting studio, like a separate office.
In the kind of arts district of Sydney.
Yeah.
I've never had my own office, I don't think.
No, neither have I. I know, it's very Mad Men.
Yeah, the building is very Mad Men. I remember when the Beastie Boys had G-Sun, which was really fun.
So good. Yeah, I'm really excited about this next era, but we have been downsizing essentially our new home, which maybe we'll do some social content, show people around it at some point, but it's like an immaculately designed, but almost like a tiny home. So everything has to have a purpose. There are the X amount of bowls, X amount of places. So we dropped some stuff off at Goodwill, and lo and behold, a beautiful baby receiving our goods.
Oh yeah,
at Goodwill.
She was a fan of the podcast. It was at Salvos, as they say, but I like to.
I love how you have a sort of Greek, sort of like tinge to the way you say salvos. You have a bit of a salvos.
Salvos. Yeah. Well, in Australia, they shorten everything. So Salvation Army is too long, I suppose. But
I like how salvos, it almost pays tribute to the fact that we are now living in the inner west.
Yeah.
And, your Mediterranean roots.
Very Greek in the inner west. And I'm learning all these things, Greek and Italian, which bodes very well for food. And it's great. Our apartment, so our house, it's a little house. I'm doing, I love interior design. I don't know why I'm saying you might not know. I once had a therapist and I kept saying a lot. And then finally they said, no, I don't know. And I was like, rude. But also it made me think when you say, literally it's implying like that you would have known I liked this, or you know what I'm saying?
But I always thought it was more like, do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Are you keeping up with me? Are you up to date?
It's not like Anyway, I've been looking at brick interior. It's got in London, there's a lot of these great factory lofts. I don't know what part of London, and I'm getting a lot of inspiration because they're brick walls, kind of either cement or wood. We have a combination of beautiful kind of cement floors and also beautiful wood, but with exposed brick. It's cool. I feel like we're in New York or London, but we've got the tropics of Sydney.
I love it. And, I lived in, I moved to the US.
I happen to know this.
You do know this. I moved to the US in 1996. So, I grew up in North Bondi. When we came back, we were in Paddington, Wallara, like this area, essentially all eastern suburbs. So this is our family's adventure to the Inner West, the Inner West chapter of Weirder Together. It's exciting.
Yeah, and the east side of LA is more historically kind of artsy, and the West Side is more conservative. And here it's flipped, where the East Side is kind of more straight.
True.
And the West is a little more fun.
And we had our last day moving out of our place in the eastern suburbs, and I went to grab a coffee, and I saw, I don't know if I have that many enemies, but for sure this guy thinks of me as his enemy. This is like one of these guys who
is mad at you online.
Mad at me online.
On
harasses
your
me.
political
says,
views.
Yeah. And I saw him and I was like, it was like a real sign. I was like, let's take a breath. Let's take some space. What are you glancing at? You look like you saw a ghost. What was that?
I did something that while we were moving in, I got a laundry service just to make it easier until I learned the new washer and dryer, which I don't think I'm going to do every week because it's a little of a luxury that I don't know that I need to.
But it's still part of your WASP fantasy, perhaps.
Oh, for sure. My fantasy above WASP pay grade even like is having things ironed, pillowcases, someone coming in and
a laundress.
But a laundress and someone to open the door. A butler always appealed to me because they could warn you and tell you and give you a few minutes to collect yourself.
Oh,
or deal with.
Mean you're talking about someone answering the door or the phone or something?
Yeah, just someone to deal with stuff when you're not ready.
You are a true lady.
But I thought that was the laundry.
Gotcha. So a lot has happened. We obviously skipped last week's pod. There's been a lot going on. We have the docket. The docket is full.
Yeah.
Today. I wrapped up the end of my Awake is a New Sleep tour in Adelaide and Fremantle, and emotional experience ending
Was it like the Scorsese movie The Last Waltz?
It was more like the Scorsese movie The Wolf of Wall Street with just a descent into a blizzard of cocaine. No, it was...
You guys were such a great crew.
Yeah,
what a cool... Vinny, beauty. I wanted to start his modeling career because he's got these alternative good looks that just like... I do think
he looks like a character from Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Vinny is the drummer from the band Teenage Dads. He was our tour manager. He's also single, and we were all trying to set him up on stage. So I actually said something on the last night. He's a sweetie pie.
Yeah.
You know, like people who live on the road.
I hung out with him.
Yeah.
But I saw his work ethic was so good, meaning his bedside manner was terrific.
But he's a road dog. You know, he is out there 9 months a year. And I think that does, it's like
Some
actors
people
who
like that.
Yeah, but you got to find a very specific type of person who can handle
that.
it. No.
I either
you are not that, neither am
I'll
I.
either blow my career and be a rock wife and just go on tour, or not enjoy
or cheat on the person.
on the side.
You can say it. Our listeners know. They've read your book.
I don't do that anymore, but I do love. We're a bonded pair, as they say in the dog adoption world.
Or birds, lovebirds. We love birds. But it was a really nice chat, and we went straight from that to moving basically the day I got back, and it was interesting. Like being in Australia, we were talking about how this chapter has had an element of like, we were calling it a stint, right? And we didn't know.
In Australia.
Yeah, we didn't know how long ago. And there is something about
4 months.
Yeah, there is something about moving within a move.
I know.
That adds a sense of like, this is a little somewhat more permanent than we pictured.
I think that's where my nervous breakdown came from. Was a little bit about I can only say that because I've probably had a real one in life, so I'm not being, but this wasn't a real one.
Oh, right. You are speaking from lived experience.
Yeah,
about
this
nervous
wasn't
breakdowns.
a real one, but mine stemmed from, wow, we're really in Australia if we've lived in one place, rented it for a year, and now
year and a half,
and now we're renting another place for a year. It feels like,
and we're renting commercial real estate. We've got an office. Come on, we're putting roots down.
So excited.
Tax deductions. Shout out to you, Calculated Matters. Thank you for teaching me how to keep my books in order.
That's so good.
Now, speaking of the corporate life and nervous breakdowns, let's get into The Chair Company. 2 episodes in of The Chair Company.
I couldn't watch it the first night we moved in because my stress level was so high that But I have to say, I love all of Tim
Robinson's.
That's right, Robinson's. Well, because of Tom Robbins, Tim Robbins,
There's a lot.
Robinson's May Mall.
A lot to keep clear.
Rest in peace, the mall from Westwood, no longer there. But yes, so anyway, I love everything he's done from Friendship.
I think you should leave, Friendship.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have to say, this one I'm like enjoying even more than anything. Not that I need to compare, but I love it the most.
Yeah, and like, listeners of this pod who know our affinity for, last week we were talking about Alan Partridge, about Steve Coogan, but back to Andy Kaufman, then to Nathan Fielder. I mean, this is the comedy of discomfort. Tim Robinson.
Amy, not Amy, who's the woman who, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay.
You're tapping away.
Sorry, I didn't mean to tap.
No, it's okay. I was just noticing that I upset you. I'm trying to add a woman in there. Berlant, but Kate Berlant, but also the woman who's comedian, very interesting.
Maria Bamford?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So these are comedians who specialize in something Juliana Hatfield once said to me, which was she thrives on uncomfortable silences. I mean, this is like a specific vibe. But Tim Robinson he's pushed it with each project he's done to a more and more uncomfortable, but more and more artistically refined vision. Mm-hmm. I'm loving this show, and I love watching these arcs of creative people where they get a little more budget each time because they've proved themselves, and they get a little more trust from the industry, and they again, expand and refine the vision. And this one it's a level of mastery that is just I'm enjoying it.
And it hasn't lost it's not become more broad or anything. Like, for example, it's almost like you're watching the best improv, but it's scripted. So what's like, for example, there's one little piece that involves a hat. And the way that he uses this little hat that wasn't the hat he thought it was, and then all of a sudden his son comes in the room and he gives the son the hat. It's something you would see in improv where someone just thinks, oh, I will give this to my son. But the fact that someone wrote that is so impressive to me, that they wrote, and his trains of thought are so unique. He's so unique. It's not like what you would ever have thought, but it's that kind of great humor where when you see it, you're like, oh, you get it. Once it's been realized in front of your eyes, you're like, oh, that's amazing. But it's so not any thought that you could anticipate,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the cool things is just watching his incremental progress and experimentation with each project. I really admire that because I've often been someone who's taken really drastic turns, and watching the patience and the career patience and artistic patience of someone developing an idea.
Where did he start from? What was his origin?
Well, he was from this sort of this little comedy group that ended up being all writers on SNL, and they've done a lot of web stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super cool, and yeah, I just love that we're watching this show. We're watching this show that we have no idea where it's going. Like, even from episode 1 to episode 2, it was just like it's just going on its own track. And I'm like, so
I love that.
I'm loving it.
I think it's pronounced queef.
Ah, okay. There you go.
I was only straightening your shirt.
No, I was also showing
not for
a little...
the bottom, just for the top.
Oh, I thought I was having a muffin
No
top.
need to say sorry. No, that would have been nice. I would have lifted that up further.
You like a muffin top?
No, I like your sides. You know that.
Okay, that's
you
true.
don't have a muffin top really anymore. But just your sides are attractive. But it was more just straightening out the top.
Thank you so much. Our last pick of the week, you were chatting about the Andrew Durham film Fairyland. And I just wondered if you wanted to just,
Yeah, my friend Andrew Durham and his lifelong friend, a friend of mine, Sofia Coppola, who produced this beautiful movie, Fairyland. I kind of feel like there's going to be a little Oscar buzz for either the actor in it or something. It's an indie. I'm seeing there's some great indies coming in this funny time in Hollywood. But this one, Fairyland, see it. I believe it's at theaters for sure. And also, I don't know if it's yet streaming, but you can see it at select theaters in cities. Fairyland. It's about San Francisco, 70s, 80s. It's like if you, and Andrew Durham, who wrote and directed it, grew up in Napa and San Francisco area and stuff. So it's just, it's like going back in a time machine. I wasn't living there, but anyone who's adjacent, Winona Ryder, perhaps, people we know who grew up in that area, sort of near there, whatever. It's Margaret Cho. I can't wait. I love thinking about people because it's hard to capture period pieces that feel authentic, that are current. I think I've said this before, because if you go farther back in time, yes, there's the sticklers, me included, that might think, oh, that's not accurate for 1872. Like, I'm not that smart with it, but basically some people would pick things up.
Right, like costume or interior design.
Exactly. But mainly period pieces, a lot can go and you wouldn't notice. Whereas, the 70s, the 60s, like that's harder because people remember.
Totally.
Anyway, this is beautifully done, not only just the look, but it's just like a great, fantastic indie fairyland.
Isn't it amazing? Like getting an indie, just getting a film made is so difficult. What just beeped? Was that one of the cameras or? Hang on 1 second. No, we're still recording.
That's living in a new...
Yeah. Hearing new beeps.
Used to the new sounds of a new place.
But it's such an uphill battle. Like, it's funny how many people... I remember Nash saying about how many people direct one movie because it takes such a toll on you.
Yeah.
And I think it's really unexpected how difficult it is to get a movie made. And that's why, like, when friends make things... the cynical way of thinking about it is like, oh, you just like things because your friends made them or something. Like, I feel that sometimes, like, if my friends make something, I'm very, like, generous towards it.
I'm the opposite. I'm always afraid, what if it's not good? Sometimes, sometimes you have that thing, like the fear, because it's a friend.
Sure. Like, how do you act?
Yeah, and what do you... I'm very good at saying polite things if for some reason I'm not like blown away or something. But yeah, I think I'm pleasantly surprised when friends do really terrific.
Yeah, me too. I guess I'm just sort of like, I'm just also pleasantly surprised when people can complete a project so intensely.
God, yeah.
Like, and Alexi just got distribution for Messi, which is also a really good film. They're afraid of the Urian.
Yes, I'm in.
And you did. I was so happy that that's going to actually come out and people are going to get to see it.
I know, that's great. And it's that inexplicable thing that, like, you can't, like, when how do I get funny? Like, unless you are inherently funny, you can hone it. Like, going back to improv, the people who do improv, after about 7 to 10 years, if you're already started funny, you're going to be extremely good at it and funny. But that's something you kind of, it's like the fairy bestowed you with the gift of timing or not. And the same with the film, like Messi is just really great. And it's like, I don't know, it's like Alexi Wasser just has it. She's got the it factor with.
Well, she's funny, she's smart, she's stylish.
Yeah, and it like doesn't lag and whatever. I mean, lagging is good sometimes. I love a slow film.
Oh no, that's a snappy film.
But this film is just like perfect in a sense that it it's just like goes down, which is the sign of something very good to me.
Yeah, it was fun when you were talking about improv. I was remembering, because remember we'd go see UCB with like Lauren Lapkus and Mike Castle, all those people,
and we would do it as like the guests.
I know, we were telling Goldie, because I just watched The Good Place, all of it with her, and she was like, how did you meet Darcy? And I was like, same as Lauren, like we met all these people doing UCB.
Yeah, Lauren Lapkus we first met with the Story Pirates.
Yeah, that's right, I forgot about that.
But yeah, UCB,
But I remember asking Mike about how, just like, to me, the pace of like how fast your mind has to work to be good at improv.
Mike
Castle.
Oh, Mike Castle,
Yeah.
Lauren's husband.
Yeah, I feel like this light is like crazily.
forgive
Is this
us.
hitting my head? Is
No,
this
no,
light?
just
It's not. It's just missing me.
Today we're using, there's a beautiful shade, so we were like, this is perfect. But there's a cloud, so
Yeah, I'm
it's,
feeling myself starting to sweat, like it's about to hit me. But
no,
I remember asking
it's more
Mike.
just the sun's going out a lot.
Yeah, I was in awe. I was in awe of those improvisers at UCB just because of how fast their minds were. But Mike was like, yeah, yes, but it's also a bunch of rules and systems that you learn about how to respond to different situations and what your options are. And I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like, even within, I guess it's like being a great athlete or musician, that there's just a lot of systematic thinking in what looks like freedom to the untrained eye.
Yeah, it's funny. Straight actors or whatever have a little bit of fear, like people who've grown up doing TV, film, plays. I feel like sometimes are intimidated by improv.
Sure.
Yeah. So
because you're being told what to say when you do
and you practice it and all
but
of that.
But you've done both. I always think, when I first saw you do improv, I was so impressed. I thought you were so funny.
Yeah.
And when did you realize you could do that?
Well, yeah, I did this show called Head Case and then Arrested Development. And there was just a time where, was John Hamm was doing whatever. Like there was a time where actors certain actors were sort of doing that kind of.
Well, it was also like post Judd Apatow, like suddenly comedy and improv. It was intersecting with what you'd think of as like traditional film in a new way.
Yeah. I know. Peter Sellers, I'm thinking of those kinds of improv. Like improv has been around before even all of those groundlings and things, obviously. But yeah, it's certain actors are nervous about it. I mean, I'm still I still would be, if I was thrown in there with all those people who'd been studying for so many years and knew the rules, I'd be kind of freaked.
I was watching there's a documentary about Kenny G
that's
come out, and Imogen, who was playing in my band, recommended it. And I was actually, I wouldn't say I loved the documentary, but it made me think a lot because he's such a both universally beloved and hated character. And more recently, he's kind of embraced his own meme-like essence and has kind of become like, cringe cool in a way. But it talks a lot about why traditional jazz musicians hated him or didn't like him. And I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, tell me.
Well, they were saying that like he does a lot of essentially superficial trickery. Things that are like is crowd pleasing, but not rooted in the sort of rigorous intellectual or artistic history of jazz. And the example that was used in the documentary was, imagine if LeBron James and Michael Jordan had to be baristas because no one wanted to support basketball and couldn't make money. And the only thing that made money was the Harlem Globetrotters. There would be resentment towards the Harlem Globetrotters. And I thought that was kind of like, I don't know, it just like helped me understand a little bit where some of this like within his industry, where this derision came from. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Do you think it's similar for actors that like the Marvel universe or those things, those actors make so much money and it's not the same level of work to a certain degree in the other, but it seems different in the music industry is really, there was no middle class in a way in the jazz world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's true. I think in some ways the likelihood of being a working actor who could survive is, as hard as it is, it's more likely than being a working jazz musician who could survive.
A golden era that of at least you could kind of be a working actor. Some people could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Totes. You're pointing at my list, the docket. Well, I thought we could chat a little bit about Griffin Dunne's visit to Sydney.
Oh, yes.
And to Australia.
Yes. So I believe he's still doing a few things if you want to see Griffin Dunne. I did one event with him. We both have books, memoirs that came out around the same time that are kind of companion memoirs, I would say. in some ways and in some ways not. But his is terrific and my memoir is terrific. But anyway, we did a thing in Brisbane.
Brisbane Writers Festival.
Yeah.
You did a panel about like Hollywood memoirs, right?
Yes, about Hollywood memoirs. It was great. And then we just saw him at the beautiful old library.
State Library,
in Sydney. And there's this little pocket in the city of these beautiful stone buildings from the 1800s that are lit so tastefully at night, and they're just beautiful stone buildings. One's a library, one's like I don't know, there's like 4 of them on different corners, and I love them. I like this type of architecture. Anyway, I've never been inside, and you had never been inside.
Yeah, I'd never been inside either.
And this was packed, and he's so good at he was interviewed by this guy Benjamin Law, who a lot of people know, a writer, comedian, does a
media pundit, does a lot of sort of just,
and he's great, and he also has like a podcast that's really good.
And he was very like present.
He was a great interviewer.
I really like the fact that he puts a lot of thought into it and work into it and asks very like just thoughtful questions,
and he's heartfelt. And Griffin is like polished, and he's really good at speaking, and he's very professional, but Griffin Dunne is also very vulnerable and real. And Benjamin Law is, for an Australian, I mean, Australians are very real, but a little bit more formal in a certain, not formal, but
I get what you mean. There's like, I always think actually, contrary to the way people think of Australians, it's a very polite society, like just people saying hello to bus drivers and thank you. We have good manners, which in a way can mask sort of maybe a deeper sense of anxiety or hostility or something.
And even if you're sort of a wilder, rougher, surfer type or whatever, like a cowboy type or whatever you would say, like a hooligan type, there's still a kind of way, there's like a barrier of speaking that's kind of a buffer. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
So Benjamin Law was a great pairing because he, for an Australian, is kind of very there. Like you feel like, oh, this is like, it's felt more like LA to me or something.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, it worked well. Yeah. And Griffin's stories are just unreal.
And I haven't read Griffin's book, and I mainly know about him through you and just through general sort of like conversation of him in culture. But what a fascinating life he's led, and so much tragedy too.
Yeah,
I didn't
realize. A lot of
tragedy,
but which is the combination between so much success within many family members and tragedy, but the way they handled the tragedy was obviously putting it in art. And like Joan Didion had a lot of tragedy, but putting things into writing. But I don't know if a lot, but she had some. But and different family members, and his father completely changed his career and used a terrible loss in propelling him. And same with Griffin Dunne, is doing some great stuff now. But also he's working more than ever at this point. Was in American Werewolf London and After Hours and all these things. But he now, he works all the time, and he's in his early 60s. It's just inspiring. It's cool.
It is really inspiring. And we went out for a lovely dinner after at Aria down at the Opera House, and a few of his friends, Simon Baker, and a few different people were there. And it was just a really great, I don't know, it was funny. It was one of those things too, where I always think about, for you being in Australia, just any of those moments of sort of connection are really nice, because it like bridges worlds.
Yeah, no, it's so good.
We need to talk about Tyra Banks's presence in Australian culture.
Yes.
With her ice cream company, Smize and Dream, and the radical move she has just made by hiring one of our dear friends and creative genius.
Immediately makes me admire her even more.
Byron Spencer.
For working with Byron.
Now, it's interesting because Tyra Banks is one of those people I've obviously always been aware of. I mean, she's been in pop culture forever. Oh my God, the sun just hitting my eyes like that. Oh, geez. Maybe I'll sit up.
Yeah.
But this just, like you said, this totally makes me think that it's not an accident that she has been in our consciousness in popular culture for this many decades. She understands how to tell a story and how to craft her own narrative through the media. And hiring someone like Byron indicates that she understands that launching a brand or a product now is not as simple as just like it used to be with like, here's my product, this is what it is, this is the quality. It's more about creating a cultural moment. Everything has to be Charlie XCX Brat times 50 in order to completely dominate culture. And what she's done with this hot ice cream, I haven't tried it, it's like sort of a gimmick, but it's very, it's perplexing. Everybody's like, what is it? And then hiring Byron, who's someone who traditionally works with quite edgy and forward thinking, whether it's Lady Gaga, Julia Fox, like she is.
Leah Remini.
No, not Leah Remini. Lisa Renner.
Lisa Renner.
But it's like and doing it out of Australia, like she is doing some very interesting play with the media.
Well, I do believe she does like the dairy here.
Yeah, she does like the dairy.
And
she keeps talking about it.
She and her family love Australia, which I don't can't deny chicken fry. It's very nice here. And also apparently it's really delicious, and it's sort of more like it's not like a microwave thing. It's like actually really good. It's like getting ice cream with, and it's like a cake that's been melted with it or something or other. It sounds kind of yummy.
Yeah, but I just think this
good.
is, I have no idea, but she's reminding me a little bit of like the Good Charlotte boys, in the sense of being someone you should never count out. Because what I saw with those guys over the years is they're always watching where culture's going, and they're always understanding that you have to speak the language of that moment.
Yeah.
And Tyra Banks hiring Byron Spencer is a sign of very interesting things to keep your eye on culturally coming out of Smize and Dream, I think.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's fun. And I like that it's fun. I'm seeing more. It's Australia, like it's so white, they say, but I'm seeing it's less white. I mean, it's nice to know that. And I don't know if it's changing or if it's just I'm seeing different things.
Well, the world's getting smaller in general,
yeah, maybe,
right?
which is nice because it's whatever, it's good. It's I do miss like Hispanic culture, but it's here, and I can even get good Mexican food.
I think today the ad campaign for the new, We're All in This Together has been used by industry super funds for like the last 10 years, and I've done a new version of it for their new ad campaign that's starting today, and I'm putting it out also on Spotify today.
Oh,
so people can check that out. Sorry if I've been a little bit distracted by the sun.
That's okay.
But next week we are going to be in our new studio. Look, I'm literally being blind.
It's okay. Some people are just listening.
I know, but it's distracting my mind. This next week we're going to be back. We're going to be in a new studio,
in our studio,
and in the new chapter of Weirder Together.
Yeah.
And
we've really
looking forward to it.
It's been fine. We had one gorgeous studio here when we moved, and then the company like switched gears and just stayed in the hotel business and gave up that space, but it was perfect.
And then we went back to bed for a month or so.
Well, we did the John and Yoko pod series.
All right, we got to wrap this up. I'm like absolutely roasting.
Okay.
Love you, beautiful babies.
All right. Yes, Ben's tanning whilst potting.
We will see you next week.
We love you. Love you so
Bye.
much.
Together we're weirder together.